today I thought I would talk to you about the art, clues to the art of the mystery story. Well, I guess we should figure out what a mystery is, though, before we start. Can someone tell me what a mystery is? Yes?
Mystery is like, I don't know where something is.
It's true, yes. It's often called, mystery is often called a whodunit. In other words, who did the crime? You've got a problem or a crime to solve and you don't know who did it. Yes?
The way to find out who did it is you follow the clues.
Very good. Yes, we're going to talk about that. You follow the clues. Yes?
It's like a detective story.
A detective story. Yes, detective is usually the main character or protagonist in a mystery. Yes?
Mystery is something you don't know.
Exactly. A mystery is something you don't know. It's like a riddle you have to solve, a puzzle whose pieces you have to put together, or a quest or search you have to go on. Now, we mystery writers are very anxious to capture your attention right off the bat when we start a story. So in a mystery story, it's very important to have a catchy beginning. And I'm going to read to you one of the ways that I started one of my stories. And I will be giving you handouts later, the art of the mystery, how you structure a mystery according to a roller coaster theme. That's kind of the theme of my presentation. So in fact, I'm going to start off with a scene from my roller coaster mystery called The Big Dip. And when I read it, you'll see that I'm trying to capture your attention in the first chapter and to make you wonder what's going on, to make you wonder what it is that you don't know and what the main character, also known as the protagonist, doesn't know as well. So here's how I started The Big Dip. It was coming up, the Big Dip. The cars rattled to the crest of the rickety roller coaster. Usually Skip and I got the first seat, but tonight a grizzled old man had dodged in ahead of us. As the train creaked higher, the old man twisted round to grin at us. One eyelid, missing its eyeball, was squinted almost shut. With his working eye, he studied me. "I know you. You're that speedy feller, Mojo Lumbee," the old man exclaimed with a loud cackle. It was true. I'd nailed the regional and the provincial track championships. The Vancouver Sun had done a story on me just last week. Joe Lumbee, age 15. On the track, just call him Mojo, the headline said. There had been photos of me zooming around the school field. The old guy probably recognized me from the photos. Yeah, well, I shrugged. I hoped he wasn't going to ask me about my times or anything. Not with the Big Dip coming up. Besides, the name Mojo was a sore point with me. I was fast on my feet all right. For me, running was everything. I was almost always training or at meets. The downside was my grades were tanking. While everyone else got to go away for the summer, I was stuck in Vancouver taking a math course. There was no mojo, no luck about that. But for now, I didn't care. The train was edging over the crest. It crashed down the Big Dip. At 50 years old, the roller coaster at Vancouver's Pacific National Exhibition is the only wooden one left in Canada. It's also one of the few anywhere that just has dinky metal bars. Most roller coasters have shoulder clamps to hold you in. When you drop in this one, you lurch over the metal bars. Skip and I leaned forward so we could stretch over the bars. In a whirl of blue sky and rushing air, we lunged, our hands reaching to the tracks. We always did this. It was as if we were the ride, not the riders. "Stay still, you idiots," screeched a woman behind us. We ignored her. There were shrieks of laughter, and somebody popped the tab off a soda can. I thought that was weird, breaking out refreshments, just as you plunged down the Big Dip. In front of us, the old man leaned forward too. I thought it was cool being that old and into roller coasters. On the other hand, I hope the excitement didn't give him a heart attack. Slam! The train hit the valley. Skip and I sat back and high-fived each other. Nothing beat the Big Dip. The train zoomed up the next hill. The P&E coaster is engine-powered only up to the first dip. After that, it spools round the twists and turns on its own momentum. Roller coaster nuts from all over the world come here to ride the coaster because it's such a museum piece. I decided that the old guy in front must be one of those roller coaster nuts. He was still leaning forward, ready to catch the next big dip. I forgot about the old guy as Skip and I lunged again. Whoa! The grounds of the P&E with their bright rides and concession stands swirled around us. The merry-go-round was upside down, and there was the Ferris wheel spinning straight at us. Seconds later, or so it seemed, the train sputtered to a stop. Skip scrambled onto the platform. He helped out the passenger behind us, a stocky woman with a large boxy purse. The old guy in the first seat was still leaning forward. "Hey, buddy," I said, "ride's over." He didn't reply, didn't move. "Come on, Joe," Skip called from the platform. "Let's get out of here. We need our junk food ration for the day." The old man moaned. Maybe he did have a heart attack, I thought, alarmed. I touched his shoulder. "Hey, buddy." He straightened up, gasping. His lean face was as gray as concrete. He tried to clutch my arms, but he was too weak. His hands slipped to the sides of my jacket and clenched the fabric. The stocky woman pushed Skip aside. "I'm a nurse," she said. "Let me have a look at him." Her face shoved up to mine. Her teeth, small and pointy, looked out of place in her large, square face. "I'm a nurse," she repeated. I started to move out of the way, but the old man kept clutching my jacket. His lips were twitching. He wanted to speak. I leaned closer, blocking the stocky woman. The old man whispered, "A plant, the Margaret Rose, get it to the police." He slumped sideways. His single eyes stared up at me, unblinking and unseen. He was dead. By now, the next train had rolled in behind us. An attendant hurried over to see what the delay was. "Come on," he urged, glancing at the people waiting to get on. "Gotta move." Then he saw the old man. "Geez," the attendant said, turning pale. "He must have had a heart attack," I said. I was thinking of how the old guy had stretched forward for every dip. I had assumed he was doing it for fun. The attendant unclipped a cell phone from his belt and started barking into it about an emergency. His voice broke partway through. The passengers from our train and from the train behind us crowded round. There were some gasps, but nobody said anything. They just stared. I realized I was still holding the old man's shoulder. I let go. The sides of his jacket fell back. That's when I saw it, the small black hole at the back of his neck. Blood spread from it like a red scarf. "Not a heart attack," I breathed. "This guy was shot." So when I try to get your attention to the mystery, I'm really trying to get you to ask a lot of questions. What sort of questions would be in your mind when you finish that chapter? Yes.
Who shot him?
Who shot him? Yes.
Where did the bullet come from?
Where did the-
was the person?
Exactly. Where did the bullet come from? Yes.
What is that plant, Margaret plant leaving?
What is that Margaret plant doing? Exactly. Yes. In the yellow shirt there?
Is the bullet still in him?
Is the bullet still in it? Yes.
How did they get a bullet to go near him?
How did they get a bullet to go near him? Okay, one more. How about you?
What time did he get shot on a roller coaster?
What time did he get shot on a roller coaster? You know, these are great questions. Next slide here, which is the 5 W's and an H, which you've all come up with very cleverly. Because when someone's reading a mystery story, or really any book, ideally the reader asks these questions: who, what, where, when, why, and how, when they start a chapter, because they want to know what is going on. And you asked who, what, when, where, why, and how. And here these two girls are perhaps hanging upside down, wondering what's going on. They may be paying attention to what's going on the roller coaster. So that is very important in a story. Does anyone here like to write stories? You like to write fiction? Yeah. So when you write your first chapter, even your first few paragraphs, you want to grab the reader's attention. You want to get some action going right away so that the reader keeps going, keeps finding out what's going on in your story. And you do that by posing these questions to the reader and making them wonder so that they have to turn the page and find out what's happening.